everybody, last section, which is going to be trap cards. Just a quick note, I was thinking about doing synchros and fusions, but since they were included in the monster cards, I thought to leave that, really, just in case you were wondering about that next. But this is the last segment, and this is going to be the trap cards, my top 10 favourite traps. Again, starting from the bottom up. Number 10 is Solemn Judgment. Basically, even though I've never been able to use this correctly, this is the ultimate counter card, and if I could put it in my deck I could, but I don't have any room, unfortunately. Paying half your life points is a bit of a hefty cost, but if you play it towards the end of the duel where you need to negate anything that's really serious, then you can do that, but obviously it's all about timing. But I like it because it's the ultimate counter card, it's been termed as, because it can counter anything for half your life, which is a downside, and in the future I may use this card again, but for now it's out the deck until I learn to time it correctly. Number 9 is Return from the Different Dimension. Now, I used this card mainly in combo with the Dragon's Mirror to use Super Polymerization in my very old version of the Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. And of course, it's used by both Kaiba and Yugi in the movie. First to summon out, by Kaiba against Pegasus to summon out his XYZ monsters, and by Yugi to summon out the Egyptian God cards, which I thought was really cool. You have to pay half your life points again, but you can special summon as many of remove from play monsters as possible, so it doesn't matter if it's the opponents or yourself. And during the end phase you have to remove them from play, which is a bit of a bummer, but if you play this right, you can be a game ender. And I like it because, well, not only do Kaiba and Yugi both use it, but it really did help out, and it did help in my deck, in my older versions of my deck, and I really enjoyed trying to pull the combo off, so that's number 9. Number 8 is Waboku. At first I dismissed Waboku because I thought it was a bit of a useless trap card, but when I realised that the monsters couldn't be destroyed because of no battle damage, I thought, wow, that is actually really, really useful. I keep swapping it in and out of the deck because, well, the good thing about this trap card is, which is what I really like the most, is you can chain it most of the time. So if your opponent played like Heavy Storm, you can chain it so your monsters and you took no battle damage that turn, or if someone plays Trapstun, you can chain this, and you know you get the effects and everything, and you know and stuff like that. So it's chainable and it can save your backside basically. I think it's actually better than Threatening Roar, so that's number 8. Number 7 is Birthright. When I first saw this card, I was like, oh, that's going to go in my deck, because it could revive Blue Eyes or Dark Magician, because this was in my very, very old Blue Eyes Dark Mage decks. You know, and I thought it was really nice that the set it came from, which is Storm of Neos, I think it is. That pack was focused quite a lot on using cards from normal monsters in terms of the Geminis and everything. And I thought it was brilliant because I could use this alongside Call of the Haunted, which is why it was one of my faves. But unfortunately, it's like Call of the Haunted. If it's cards removed from the field, it's destroyed. And since there's quite a lot of destruction in that, it's very difficult to play nowadays unless you have ways of actually getting around that. But so yeah, that's number 7. Number 6 is Starlight Road. I only got this about 2 years ago, and the reason why I really like it is not only is it a very pretty picture, but it is actually used by Yusei in the anime, and he uses it to win against Roger, who is the leader of the Dark Signers, the one with the spider glyph, and it's so useful against destruction and that. I mean, I would not be surprised if it's used quite a bit in mass destruction formats now, and the best thing is it can special summon a Stardust, so for Stardust decks it's really easy to summon and synchro into other forms of the Stardust Dragon. However, according to the official rulings, because Stardust Dragon wasn't properly synchro summoned, but special summoned by this card, you can only use its effect once, which is a bit of a downside to this card. But I really like it because it has saved my backside quite a bit in other tournaments and that, but now that I've got Trapstun, Trapstun's a bit more easier to use, really, And trap stun can actually stop this, as I found out during a video, during a duel in Map for Miniatures. I played this and then somebody changed trap stun, and this was negated. So tricky. It can be tricky to play, especially when people have that sort of thing. But oh well. So that's number 6. Number 5 is Call of the Haunted. Now I know this is still legal, but I don't run it in the deck because unfortunately 9 times out of 10 this card got destroyed before I could summon it. My dragons, or my monsters basically. But even though I didn't like it at first because it was played by Bones, yeah, I was sort of in that mood where I didn't want to use it because it was used by a rival. You see what I mean? It's kind of weird, but that was me in my fangirl phase. It has proven very useful for the deck and everything, and I really like it. You know, because it's not exactly like Monster Reborn, but it can summon any monster from the grave, and it was useful to activate and trap in like the battle phase to protect yourself and everything. But unfortunately, as I said, nowadays it's just too easily targeted and destroyed, which is a bit of a downside. But that's number 5. Number 4 is Rainbow Gravity. Now, this card is a godsend for the Rainbow Dragon and the Rainbow Dark Dragon, because if you've seen my Rainbow Era videos, you'll know why I use this card. It's the only way to summon out the Rainbow Dark Dragon in a Crystal Beast deck. And it is very useful in case your Rainbow Dragon unfortunately gets sent to the graveyard when you summon it, like trying to tribute that, and you can't negate it with your Ancient City. Basically, it can be summoned from the deck or graveyard, but according to the TCG ruling, you have to summon Rainbow Dragon properly first in order to summon it from the grave, which is a bit of a downside because in the OCG there's no such ruling. You know, you can summon it immediately from the deck or grave no matter what. But TCG kind of put a bit of nerfed it a wee bit, which is a bit of a pity. But as I said, this is the only way to summon out the Rainbow Dark Dragon in a Crystal Beast deck from the deck only. And so until they released Advanced Dark, which I really wish they would do, this is the only way to summon out a Rainbow Dark Dragon in a Crystal Beast deck properly. Otherwise you just have to go for a Rainbow, well not a Rainbow Dark Era deck, but a Rainbow Dark Dragon Turbo deck and everything, unfortunately. So that's number 4. Number 3 is Magic Cylinder. I love this card. It is such a game ender, as Dark Patrician 84 should know. Yeah. Basically, you can negate an attack and inflict burn damage equal. If you play this right, and it's a game ender. But other than that, you can sometimes get an early lead in a duel if you play it. And I only play with one because, as you know, as I keep saying, it can be a game ender. Whereas most people play with 2 now, which is fair enough. But if you've got a Prime Material Dragon or something that negates burn, then obviously it's not very useful. Although its negate attack ability can be useful, just not when it becomes life gain. Number 2 is Mirror Wall. Now, as you all know, I've only recently put the card in the deck in the past 6 months or so, but I've always liked it ever since I saw it being used by My Valentine in the anime, because it's quite a pretty little card, and it's actually quite a devastating little card as well. I mean, cutting your monster's attack in half during the battle phase, you can activate this in any stage of the battle phase, and the opponent's monsters are cut in half, which is enough to take them out by level 4 lower monsters sometimes. So Blue Eyes is cut down to 15, Dark Magician's cut down to 1250, Judgment Dragon's down to 15, Dark Arm Dragon is down to 1400. Most level 4 monsters can beat those monsters once this is down. It's a continuous trap card, so it can be very annoying for the opponent. The only downside is it is very expensive to maintain. I mean, a powerful effect like that doesn't come free, unfortunately. It's 2,000 life points per turn to maintain this. But if you activate this relatively early in the duel, it doesn't really bother me, or it shouldn't bother you either. But towards the end of the duel, it's more better to have it for no more than 1 turn, especially if you know you can actually beat the monsters it's affected. for example, or you can even just keep it, or you can even just activate and then just not pay any life points the next turn, especially if your opponent's got a very powerful monster and it's destroyed by battle afterwards. But I mean, so many people underestimate this card nowadays because I read in the Yu-Gi-Oh! War magazine that this was in combo with Dawn Zalug a very, very long time ago, and people now just dismiss it because it can unfortunately be easily negated by trap stuns and Mystical Space Typhoons and Dust Tornadoes now and Raikus. But you play it right and, well, your opponent's in trouble basically. And my number one trap card is obviously going to be Mirror Force, or Sennen Barrier Mirror Force, Holy Barrier Mirror Force in the Japanese. This is probably got to be, in my opinion anyway, the best trap card ever invented, because not only is this used by Yugimoto, it just saves your backside if you play it right, especially towards the end of a duel if you are in a pinch and your opponent has lots of monsters on the field. However, it can be easily negated, which is the downside, and since most decks, nearly every deck runs a copy, people can expect this quite easily. So it's an ultimate awesome protection card in my opinion, but it can be easily negated, which is a downsider. But if you play it right, you can totally obliterate the opponent's field, and it's a pretty little picture as well. I mean, it's quite devastating. The best thing is, if the opponent has the space down and I summon a Mirage Dragon or a Parameteor or Stardust, this literally becomes useless for them. But if they try and attack me, I've got this face down, then they're in trouble basically. But it's just such, I can't really describe it really, it's just such an amazing card. I mean, it's you know, as I said, everybody's nearly got a copy now, so it's expected, but it can still catch it out, and it's still a devastating little card, so this is my number one trap card. So yeah, everybody, those are my top 10 favourite monsters, magics and trap cards. I hope you enjoyed that, and next video is possibly going to be my top 10 favourite, annoying cards from the spells and trap cards and monster cards that I've come across. However, because most of these cards I do not have access to, I'm going to do the video in a slightly different style. So till then guys, I hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you later. Bye!